let the show begin.
I know you men have been making and drinking this goddamn SKYPE. That's okay by me.
Everything a lie.
Any man in an outfit of mine can get as drunk as he wants to every night.
Everything you hear, everything you see.
As long as he's ready and in shape to make reveille and carry out any assignment he is given. If he can't do that, he's going to have trouble. From me.
So much to spew out.
I prefer to think of myself as a family man, and that's what we all are here, whether we like it or not. We are a family. I'm the father. Guess I make Sergeant Welsh here the mother.
They just keep coming, one after another.
That makes you all the children in this family. Now, a family can have only one head, and that is the father. Father's the head, mother runs it. That's the way it's going to work here. If any of you men want to see me about anything...
You're in a box.
Anything at all.
A moving box.
You will find that I am available. This war is not going to be over by next Christmas. It's going to be a long time before we get home.
They want you dead. Or in their lie. Only one thing a man can do. Find something that's his. Make an island for himself.
It is Tuesday, the 11th of February 2014. My name is Paul.
My name is Andy.
And we are live on the Unpenned Show, broadcasting on the Wake, the Shaziz Network, and around the world on Blog Talk as well. Good evening, and thank you for listening, however you're doing so. The entire show, including all the music and the clips that we play, is below the YouTube video that you could be listening to any day after today. Important that you do so. The clips and the music are part of the show. They're not a break. They're part of the show and part of the reason why we want to do our shows.
Yep.
Every single Tuesday. I don't know what we do if we didn't do this.
No.
But it's because we feel we should.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want paying for it?
No.
Do you want recognition for it?
No.
Do we want to invite us on their shows for it?
No.
Do we want somebody to go on our show for it?
No.
Why? Because it's ours.
It's ours, yeah.
It belongs to us.
It does. This is
our time. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's our time, and we share it with you. And thank you for letting us do that.
Yeah.
We would do it with or without you.
We
and
have done and will do,
and you'll gather that the way we present the shows is to each other.
Mm.
And if you're listening, it's like listening into a private conversation.
That's what we hope
that's
like.
what we try and get it over as. That I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, and you're just listening. And I don't want you to be grateful, but I don't want you to think that you can adversely affect how we speak to each other. If you say that you think we're wrong, I'm gonna say, okay, but that's not really good enough. Bring me some evidence, or let us chat. If you want to join in, you're quite welcome to do so by the Facebook contacts that are below this. We've got a chat box on the Awake radio station, and I do monitor it, if I can remember. Yes. And I will respond, I will talk to you, but this is our conversation, isn't it?
Yep.
And I noticed on last week's YouTube video, some of the comments, there's one comment in particular, somebody who's not heard the shows before, don't know how, there's no information for me to find out how they've heard the show before, but saying that we defended them 5 times within 5 minutes listening time.
Yes.
2 nodding guys talking about masturbatory stuff.
Yes.
And I thought, they didn't listen much longer than the 5 or 10 minutes, did they? And I remember doing that myself, listening to a little bit and thinking that I knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And leaving a flippant comment. And somehow thinking that I had a right to an input in what you've already done. As if I could change that. And I didn't listen long enough, but I still made the comment too early.
Yeah.
The comment was put in too early about how you're offending me by me listening. Who's offending who here? You know, are you offending yourself by listening? Well, the answer is yes, you are. You know, the information's there. It's you that's offended yourself by carrying on listening. You can change the channel anytime you feel like it. But what I'm getting round to is, in the early days of YouTube, that enemy of the state that we used to see it as. You remember in the early days we used to watch YouTube and it's a spy. It's watching us. There'll be a knock on the door if I keep watching this stuff. I'm going to be in trouble, Yes. I'm going to be in the biggest trouble ever if I keep watching this stuff. But I can't stop watching it. But I'm not joining. They're not going to get to know who I am. Little did we know. And then eventually, after the paranoia and fear wears off a little bit, you join, don't you?
Yeah.
You do join. And you can either join with a fake name and pretend you're somebody else. It doesn't matter. Your ISP doesn't. Your ISP is you. No matter what name or cape or whatever it is you want to wear and who you think you are, it doesn't matter. So you start to gain a little bit in confidence, don't you? You do gain a little bit of confidence. And because it's the early days and you've learnt all these... I remember describing it as... I'm learning things I didn't know. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't know this stuff, but somehow I feel I should have known this stuff. And you make the mistake of thinking that you're really smart now you know it.
It's funny, when I talk to my daughter, she's 24, she's coming up for 25 now, I can't remember. She raises her eyebrows and she says, Dad, you really can't say them things. And I said, who says? And I look round the room, I'm looking at, who says I can't say these things? Why? I'm not in anybody's company but our own. Why can't I can say what I like?
But you can say the police state is here.
Yes.
Your own family polices you.
Yes, they do, and they feel they have the right to say that as well.
Now let's go back to that opening clip there, because that was from The Thin Red Line. Classic, a really good film, a classy film. 2 hours, 40 minutes. A little bit too long, but that's only me, who it didn't move fast enough for me. I get so much from Hollywood films nowadays that I want them to move faster. But to enjoy the story, there's a certain pace to it all. And you heard the clip there, and it was... if you want to go back and listen to it again, please do, but I'll tell you what the scene was. And it was George Clooney addressing a line of soldiers who've just arrived on an island in the Second World War fighting the Japanese. Okay? So the group of American soldiers been addressed by John Clooney. They're fighting the Japs. The ones that originally took the island, they're on the way home. And the only one that stays behind is a guy called John Cusack. Well-known actor. I think we all know who he is. And that's his voiceover you can hear. It's his voiceover saying it's a lie. They want you in their system. They want to kill you. Or you can be part of the lie. Very powerful ending to the movie. Really good movie as well. I am hearing names that we know, and we've known for a long time, starting to turn the corner on what we've been talking about a long time. And this isn't us sounding big-headed. This is the realisation that came to us a little while ago.
It was,
And that is that we listen to people like Passio and Bonacci, Ike, Jones, and all the others, Alan Watt, and people like that, and we've listened to them. But we've done our homework now. We focused on what it was that we were interested in, and we found our focus shared really did concentrate our efforts.
And what got us here?
They helped us.
Here?
Well, they helped us because on the journey, on the way here, they were part of our signpost system.
Yes, they were.
They helped us. Where do we go next, guys?
Yeah, they were.
Well, how about trying down there? How about trying down here? But we didn't believe them. We went down there and came back if we didn't like it. And we tried another way, and we tried another way. And in the end, we started lighting our own path. And just this very day, I'm hearing two of our biggest names saying that Hollywood has finally got the message, and it's now making films showing us, revealing the very method of how things are done. You think, guys, have you really just figured that out? Or is it taking you this long to accept that Hollywood's only the enemy if you can't understand what it's doing? There are 2 decodes for every film. There's 2 decodes for the Bible. There's 2 versions of the truth. Well, 3 really.
Could be 3.
There's his version, her version, and what really happened. And the 2 things combined will be that'll be about what really happened. It's our misunderstanding and refusal to learn the complexities of life. The refusal to learn the control that money has over everybody.
Yeah.
Those that don't have much dismiss it as of no importance and we can build a world without it. It's not true. Its importance is the very control system itself. The very word, the money should have control on one side and God on the other. Because that's what it is. And we live in a world of who dares wins. Now, in this country, we've got 60-odd million people, 60, who knows how many, 64, 65, whatever. Doesn't really matter right now. And all the time we've been doing this, about 2 or 3 years ago, do you remember us saying, we should be able to find a group and put it together of 6, 8, 10, 12 people that we think we can provide what would be a good, strong voice at council meetings, and we can certainly provide strong opposition to decisions that are not in our best interests at a local level.
Yeah.
Do you remember us talking about?
I do, yeah.
We can find people who think.
I remember us going to the meetings.
Yes,
we went to a couple of our.
Now that was 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it?
It was. Now,
how have we done? Over the past couple of years, we've managed to add to our group 2.
Yeah.
We've had a few more come and goers.
Yes.
But they've wanted us to go down their paths.
They've wanted us, to follow their beliefs.
But they've never understood that we don't question how they got to my front door. And we don't worry about how they got to the front door. Congratulations for getting here. Now, do we want to try and improve our little lot? And do we want to leave something of ourselves that we're proud to have been part of?
Yeah.
And they say, yeah. And it's okay. So it's not too difficult now to make a plan, is it? We need to oppose people who make decisions not in our best interests. How are you with that? What, we have to go to council meetings? Well, no, we don't have to, but we need to oppose the system. It has to feel our resistance. It has to know we exist.
Yeah.
When do we have to go to them then? What do we have to do? Because the way I got here was that I actually believe that aliens are monitoring us and will save the day when the time comes. Did we have one say that?
Yeah, we did.
Did we have one?
Yeah.
And he wouldn't turn from that, would he?
No, he got annoyed when we wouldn't go
down his path.
I'm sorry, we're not going to sit and wait for little green men to do it.
But he accepted our path was what he was here for, but then wouldn't do what the path that we wanted to go on. So we had to let him go. And we've never seen him since. And he lives, 9 miles away?
Yeah.
And it's a shame. Because he agreed that we want to make our little lot a bit better. Now, if aliens are coming to save us, right? Well, great. But I'm not going to wait for them.
No.
I mean, if we
got the time to wait
if we believe in a higher deity, somebody watching over us, which I'm not convinced at all, but I'm not going to be so ignorant as to say, all right, let's leave it on the I'm not going to argue about that shelf.
Yeah.
If there is something, a higher deity watching over us, an invisible entity that nudges us one way or the other, called good or God. I like good, but I'm not sure about the God thing. He's never turned up yet.
Nope.
No one's ever landed from outer space to help us.
Not us, anyway.
Unless you believe the day the Earth stood still. And then you find Keanu Reeves turned up and he warned us that if we didn't change our ways, we were all going to, basically, we'd
become extinct.
It would be our own fault, though.
Our own demise, yeah.
Now, was he wrong?
I don't think so.
I don't think he was, no.
we're
because
quite a way down that path already.
We give so much power away in accepting that they have so much, when all my studies show it's us that don't make the right decisions. It's impossible for people to argue that it's right in front of our very eyes now.
Yeah.
Exactly what's going on. We're ruled by a bunch of professional liars who line up like pigs in the trough. We know they lie to us. We know they're feathering their nests. We know they're up to all sorts of jiggery-pokery, hands and legs, in this company and this company, and they're networking with that company and that company.
Yeah.
We know these things. And still the people at the bottom do nothing more than whine and moan and groan like an injured patient.
Yeah, we do. I used to do the same.
We're just an injured patient.
I used to just moan.
We're not in recovery, are we?
No.
Because we're not recovering at all. No, we're not.
No.
We're in discovery.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it is the pain of an injured patient.
Yeah.
The pain does go away, but you have to be patient.
Yes.
The pain does go away. It does wear off over time. But it's how you spend your time as to how fast the pain goes away, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I've definitely found that. Going back to that clip you played there, he said there, father the head and mother runs everything.
Yes.
Isn't that what we've got?
Yes.
And they used I wrote down the word under that, transparent.
Yep.
We're going to be more transparent. These government, we've got to be more transparent, haven't we? This is what the politicians have said.
Yep.
And just break that word down, transparent. You they are becoming the parent. You're handing the power over to them.
Trans is the other side.
Yeah.
It's the other side of parents. It completes the three.
Yeah.
Everything's a three. It's a Holy Trinity. The word Holy Trinity is born three.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it means. Born three. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Which one are you going to be today?
What are you going to be?
Which one are you going to be today? You can be the Father, you can be the Son, or you can be the Holy Ghost. We're copying ourselves so much now that we're going to fade away and become ghosts.
Yes, we
Have
are.
we already done so? Have we already become ghosts? Are we nothing but a ghost in a machine?
Yeah.
We talked earlier this evening. Are you and I representative of the undertakers? Are we preparing dead people for burial?
Exactly, yeah. That's the scary bit of
And
it.
it's burial
isn't
at sea, because what they see is killing them.
it? Yeah.
It's an interesting language that links together. Does it link together to confuse us and make us go round and round circles? Good question, Paul. Can I answer that? No, I can't. But do the links it makes take you in deeper, but clearer? In other words, you can see more. Back to the Hollywood thing. Hollywood's been making movies to shout loudly what's going on for an awful long time.
Yeah.
It's not by mistake that when I've got time, I try and pick lines out of films to show you. The Thin Red Line is an anti-war film. Okay? It is not in any way making war...
glorifying war.
It's not... No. It's not making it in any way heroic, in any shape or form. The entire film is the barbarity and the gravity of it all, and the pain the soldiers have to go through. It's an anti-war film, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And all the films that I watch, apart from the horror films,
Yeah.
I have a bother with horror films, and I'm glad I do, because if I could sit and watch the level of gore and shock and awe that is in those movies, if I can be comfortable watching the Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah, and all those.
the mutilation and murder of children, okay, if I can be okay with that, I ain't happy with being okay with that.
No,
There are a few things that I've learned over
my
life,
stomach,
and I've learned that those who are smarter than me, they don't have tattoos, and those that are smarter than me, they very rarely wear any body decoration of necklaces and bracelets and
earrings
and
no studs.
no, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't have any of those things.
No.
And people who are smarter than me hardly ever feel the need to swear. Now, I understand that individuality and uniqueness for some people is tattoos, body decoration, and the ability to say whatever they want. But I don't choose to do that.
No, I don't choose
and
that.
I don't find that people who do those sort of things think the same as me.
No.
At all. Ever. And I don't find people who really enjoy watching horror films think the same as me at all.
No.
No, I don't think so. We should look at the differences, because they exist. But we all want the same thing. But at what price? At what price do we want success? Is it the socialist, communism type version, where we're all the same? Or is it the truthless money scam, where they'll take it, and if you have to suffer because somebody's taking it from you, so be it? Because I don't see a third version, do you?
No.
I don't see a third version. There's either the bully version, where they steal it off you. Now, the government can be called a bully if you want. Okay? You see stuff like Benefit Street. And I've not really got a comment on that. It's a made-for-TV thing.
It is.
Benefit Street exists if you look for it. It's okay. Benefit Street is Benefit Street. But let's have a look. On my Facebook wall, the fight book system that it is, I hear people moaning about they've taken money off here, they've taken money off here, they've reduced benefits here, they've reduced benefits there. This is very routine for my Facebook wall, and I understand that. And those people, more often than not, support further taxation on those that still have to replace those benefits. We've come to the very lowest point in humanity, in certainly living memory, where people are now very, very comfortable to not produce anything and still expect something. This is what a family of Mr. and Mrs. below average. Okay, we've got the billionaires, or the trillionaires run the billionaires who run the millionaires, right? Who basically are now the middle class, who employ the working class, who feed the benefit class. Okay, that's pretty much the stack that we live in. And we have Mr. and Mrs. below average, either working class or working poor. And they're having 4 or 5 kids. And they thoroughly expect other people's money to help them bring those kids up. We can have the argument that Mr. below average, if his wages weren't taxed, he would be able to keep his money and bring up his children. But would he be able to pay for the services they need? You see, so it gets messy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because if our wages had kept up with inflation over the past 30 years, we'd all be earning twice what we're earning now. So we keep looking in the wrong direction. And because the bullies, we daren't take the bullies on, we look around at those that have been more successful than us and say, let's take it off them. Instead of facing the fight that's right in front of you.
We should be fighting, which is taking on the, like you say, taking on
it's
the
right in
bullies.
front of you.
Yeah.
But we don't understand through inflation and taxation of boom and bust. We don't understand how we've been robbed.
No, I didn't.
We didn't feel the hands in our pockets.
I didn't used to get it.
We didn't feel or see the hands in our children's money boxes.
Yeah.
So we always shout at those that have got more than us, you lot must have stolen it. It's a genius system, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And the signs are there. I was in the bank the other day. They've got the piggy banks back in the bank. They're wanting the kids' pocket money to go in the bank. It goes around and around, doesn't it?
Well,
so we can be certain that the interest rates are going to be going up shortly. If that's what they're advertising, it's coming. They know.
In the news today, let's go on to fluffy news, shall we? The French press are claiming the French President bomb America, right? President bomb America, or correctly named Barack, which is to shout at, or Barack, which is to put soldiers in. Obama. He's having an affair, right? He's having an affair with Beyonce. I wonder if she'll ask him a few questions.
Oh.
I hope she does.
It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. And 9 rings were gifted to the race of men who above all else desire power. For within these rings was bound the strength and will to govern each race. But they were all of them deceived, for another ring was made. In the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring to control all others. And into this ring he poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life. 1 ring to rule them all.
Welcome back to the show. It is Tuesday, the 11th of February 2014. This is the Unpenned Show with me, Paul.
Me, Andy.
Live around the world, and thank you for all the help that we get to do this.
Yes, thank you.
We just sit here in our North Yorkshire headquarters, press a few buttons.
Yeah.
After all the times we've been doing it, I'm finally pressing the right buttons. Yeah. 1 ring to rule them all. Just look at that picture of GCHQ.
GCHQ.
Just look at GCHQ. Spy headquarters.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it really is.
And it's got the 3 bands across it.
It has got the 3 bands,
yeah.
Interesting times. These people create all the fairy tales for us.
They do.
We are led to believe, and we do believe in far too big a numbers. We look at the Bible and dismiss it. Most people ignorantly dismiss it. But it's the old control system.
It is the oldest, yes.
And they basically wrote it and then made it happen.
Yeah, it's a template.
It's a template of how to control people.
Yep.
You scare them from one side and give them a place of shelter called a church in the other. So they pay for the service.
Yeah.
It might be bad now, but your reward will be in heaven. Okay, think positive, act positive, do good things.
Yeah.
Then you go outside and they scare the bejesus out of you again, and you run back to the service centre for your service.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay. To some extent, that's what we're doing here. Okay? But we're not telling you it's okay. Don't sit down in your chairs and think, listen to us, is going to make any difference. You're the difference. All right? Get out of your church. It's not easy. But be proud of yourself. That's how we got through this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Knowing that the person that we have to be true to is the one that you see in the mirror, the one that you sleep with, and the one that watches you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
That's how the control system works. It's simply genius.
It is.
Because almost half the people that we come into contact with who claim to understand how this works, and nearly all our gurus, they don't put it in such simple terms. And they say, how do you know you're right, Paul? I say, because what's wrong about it?
Yeah.
Right, okay? They wrote a Bible, which is a template of those are the bad guys over here, and this is where the good guys are.
Yeah.
They've given you a good versus evil fight. It's a counterfeit of a fight. So all you see in today's modern Bibles, which are newspapers and magazines and media, okay, it's doing exactly the same thing. It says that they're up to satanic rituals, they're paedophiles, they're corrupt, they lie. Listen to the language. The past lies behind us.
Yeah.
The future is lying all around us, and the present is lying all around us, and the future lies ahead. Lies ahead. Okay, it's all designed to make you think you live in a world of lies and you cling on to anything that you think is true.
Yeah.
It's designed to destabilise you to the point of you don't know what to hold on to. So you hold on to the one thing that's constant, and it's the Stockholm syndrome of your own government.
Yeah.
Because they're the only ones that are saying, I'm here to keep you safe and save you.
And
everybody looks around and says, "You can't save me. I've listened to you. What are you going to do to save me? What are you going to do to save me?" And you say, "You have to save yourself." And people say, "What?" And that's it. You've lost him.
I know you've got to go back to the stories. Noah, he saved himself by building an ark. The Israelites had to get out of Egypt and go to the land of plenty, the land of milk and honey. Sodom and
Gomorrah was the two.
Yeah,
that was the good and evil, wasn't it?
His wife had to look back and turned into a pillar of salt. I can't what the characters are called.
Right.
But they're leaving again. That Mary and Joseph had to leave and get to Jerusalem and all. And it's all about leaving the place you were and finding somewhere new.
Well, it's so you can never get home.
So you can't get
home. You can never get home. And you live in your head.
And it lies ahead.
Yeah,
that fits with your lies ahead.
This is so simple. How does it work on so many people? It shouldn't work on this many people.
No. That's where, when we've listened to Santos, and I get what he says about the... It's up your spine, it comes to your head and all this and here.
It's the old kick up the backside. Yeah. The belt, the
kick up the jacksie.
And up it goes and lights the light.
It wakes you up, yeah.
But that's why you've got a landing light at the top of your stairs.
Of course, yeah, it's like the bell at the fair, isn't it?
That's right,
but they hammer, hit, bang.
That's what I meant. It's hitting the whatever it is. Yeah. Up travels the puck or whatever, and lights the light and hits the bell. But that's what the landing light for your stairs is for.
Yeah.
You've always got 13 steps.
13 steps.
It's always the magic 13 to the top of your landing light.
Yeah.
But you can put your landing light on from downstairs.
Do the door.
That's cheating.
I know. Do the door frame as well.
Exactly.
Again,
6'6".
6'6".
6'6", and it's got the reveal. The first 3 inches of opening your door, the inside of the frame is called the reveal.
It is, yeah.
All right. There you go through the door. Okay, this is your revelation. But that's all old-fashioned. No, it's not. It's okay. It's the system is much more sophisticated now, but they still use the same control methods.
It's as simple as that.
Everybody in who we visually see, who we can actually, they're always going to be built up and knocked down. They're always going to be built up and knocked back down again. The reason being, it's not how many times you get hit and how many times you fall down, it's how many times you can get hit and how many times you can get back up again.
Yeah.
Okay, they're looking for the toughest of the most corrupt. The reason why we think the world is evil, because it wants us to think the world is evil. So we spread darkness, we spread malice, we spread corruption. We think that's the way to get on.
We do, yeah.
But that's the way the system controls us all.
It does.
You and I, who won't fall for these darkness magic. Right, we won't fall for the black magic, even if it comes in a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
We're not having it.
We're not having it, no.
That's why they can't control us. That's why a lot of people are shouting and bawling about the system. And you ask 9 out of 10 of those people who are shouting and bawling, do you think you're awake? And they say, yes. So, but you look like you live in a nightmare. You look like it's a nightmare. You're describing a nightmare. So how can you be awake? Or are you the Waking Dead? I believe that's on TV, isn't it?
Yes.
That's a programme on TV. The Waking Dead's back. The zombies are about you. Alright, there's the sleeping, but they are not wandering around aimlessly, attacking the living. The zombies are not the sheep. The zombies are us. That's who they're laughing at. The zombies know they're dead and they're attacking the living.
Yes.
The sheep are sleeping quietly in their pen because they're still paying the farmer what he needs.
Yeah.
The awakened people, or the claims that you make, it's you. You're the zombies attacking the living. It's like the crab in a bucket, isn't it? I've done this before, haven't I?
Yeah.
You put a single crab in a bucket, it'll work its way out. You put 3 crabs in a bucket, and they'll stop each other getting out.
They will just fight each other then until they're dead, yeah.
These are the sights that we see. These are the things that we share. And if you don't like it, remember, you're listening into a private conversation that we've put on here for you to listen into.
Yeah.
Feel free to comment. Feel absolutely free to critique. We don't mind. But guess what? It won't change what we're going to say and how we feel unless you provide me with something new.
Yeah.
Now, if criticism is all you've got, that's just jealousy in a spiteful form.
Yeah.
Constructive, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Our Facebook contacts are below this YouTube video. I am available, not very often on Facebook, but I go on a little bit more now because I'm trying to keep up with current events because I'm trying to.
Yeah. I've been trying to. I've enjoyed keeping off it for a while, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's all sorts of surveys, but I still feel comfortable that I teach myself more by living in the real world.
Yes. Yeah.
Facebook doesn't teach me anything that I didn't know. It confirms what I do know. Facebook is a confirmation for me. And I've had over this past couple of weeks, I've had a couple of, 2 or 3 actually, sort of personal message type conversations. Typing conversation it doesn't fit with me at all. But I've had a couple, and the people have been very nice, and you know, a couple of nice compliments and a little bit of a chit chat about how do you think about this, how do you think about that.
Yeah,
so it's
very good. Yeah,
it's going
that
okay.
Is working, yeah.
It is going okay.
It's more than we used to get.
We're not bloody prima donnas who won't reply to you.
No,
we'll always reply to you. It's like that you know, that out of the blue comment that gave us, you know, a nasty critique.
Yeah.
But that's what happens in the early days.
Oh, it does.
And as soon as we read it, we said, they've not been doing this
no,
long.
well, like you said, it says more about them than it does about us.
It certainly does.
It's told us exactly where that guy was, or in their awakening, and good. I'm glad they've got where they are now.
There is a point in this game where you do need to be proud of yourself. You need to have some pride. All right, because you're getting punched in the face every single day.
Oh, without
every
a doubt,
time you go on the internet, you're getting punched in the face.
Yep.
The spider is now constructing his web in your house. All the connections have been made inside our houses.
Yep.
Once the spider lives in your house, what's it there for? Well, spy and spider is the same thing. Okay, it's there to spy on you. It's there to watch you. And if you annoy it, it's not that it'll kill you, but it'll stop you. This internet's not going to be free like this forever.
No.
I mean, satire isn't new, okay? Satire over the years has been going for a long time. And the politicians need satire because it does really well, because it makes people think there is some resistance. But they still sit and pay for the seats in the show, just like the Romans did and the Greeks did. Yeah. It's the same thing. The Greeks had satire too. Or at least
the
so we're told.
amphitheatres,
And it was satire, and it was a very thinly veiled disguise of who they were pretending to be, and the things, you know, it was all satire.
It wasn't. It was ways of getting messages across.
But the Greeks allowed it, because the people loved it. The people loved it, making fun of their rulers in a thinly veiled disguise. And the rulers pretended not to notice, if you see what I mean. Yeah. So the people thought, you know, we've got one over on him there. But they still voted for him.
They did,
you know, this is 3,000 and 4,000 years ago.
Changed, did it?
It's the same again. Yeah. But the internet and the version that we have now, okay, we all know, anybody who takes 5 minutes time to look at this, we're not going to have this freedom forever. Now, you and I don't criticise the system in a way that some people do.
No.
But slowly but surely what we're allowed to say has been changed by the police state that is now entering our own family homes.
Yes.
As you illustrated earlier.
Yeah.
That your daughter says that even in her company, inside your own 4 walls, she said, oh, you can't say that,
Yeah,
Dad.
and it was nothing derogatory. It wasn't anything to do with race or anything like that. It was just normal conversation, and I was like, can't we even speak freely now in our own homes?
No, we can't.
And we obviously can.
No, the answer is no.
No.
Well, there is something, I think, that it was passed around about 2006, I think. And this is the Fixated Threat Assessment Centre. I mean, these are brilliant, aren't they? Now, this actually exists, all right? It was set up October 2006, and it's run by the Home Office, right? And this is, along with the Department of Health and the Metropolitan Police Service. And it manages the risks to politicians, members of the British royal family, and other public figures from obsessive individuals.
Oh.
Right, so if you obsess over somebody, okay, you can be classed as a fixated threat.
Ah, right.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Isn't it? Just the language is
They used to be called fans, didn't they?
Stalkers, now we've turned them with stalkers.
Yeah. I'm thinking of what's his name? The Liverpudlian lad that were in the Beatles, the drummer, what were he?
Ringo.
Ringo, yeah. Peace and love. But I'm not answering your fan mail anymore. I can't be bothered with it. Peace and love. Is that what they're saying there?
No.
Oh, right.
Obsessive.
Oh, right, I see.
The rationale for a joint police mental health unit was finding that the main danger of death or serious injury to anybody, politicians or politicians in Western Europe. This is politicians, as you can tell, right? the main danger of death or serious injury to politicians in Western Europe came from attacks by mentally ill loners. Well, I'm glad there's two of us.
All right.
Otherwise, you'd be a loner. What would I be? But these are laws that
mentally ill as well. That's it.
You see, I mean, this could work where they could say, "Look, you guys you're obsessed on criticising the government. We see you as a homegrown terrorist."
Yeah, there was a grab squad in the Labour government. What do they call the woman that were in the Labour government there? She took over from Theresa May. Took over from her, didn't she? Her husband caught with porn on his expenses.
Yeah.
That she set up a grab squad, didn't they? Where they went round and slapped you in a straitjacket if they wanted to silence you and put you away.
Prolonged detention or something like that. Yeah. We haven't seen the cage being built around us because we've been living in it for so long.
Yeah.
We said about The Undertaker, and is it possible that, in another analogy, we're already buried? They're just putting the soil back in.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it possible?
Yeah, it's a scary thought, that, yeah.
Our shows, I think, sometimes aren't hardline enough. They're not really explaining the danger that we're in. I think we make it sound not as dangerous as some people think it is. But then we'll get accused of fear-mongering, scaremongering, paranoia, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, we were speaking earlier, weren't we? And I know that things are coming. As soon as these interest rates start to go up to unaffordable rates, at the moment, as you mentioned, the rate of pay, the inflation, we're well below inflation now. Whereas in times gone by, I remember the Black Wednesday, my mortgage doubled overnight, but it was still affordable. Now, when my mortgage goes up, when the interest rates go up again, I'm paying about 4.5% above the base rate, so I'm paying about 5%. Because they always had that half on as well, don't they?
Yeah.
As soon as that goes up another couple of percent, I'm into money that I haven't got. So I know it's coming. And I can see where they're going with it. And when I went in the bank the other day and I saw the piggy banks, I thought, it's coming. It's just around the corner. But I'm not scared anymore. I've lost the fear. I know this system is designed to take everything that we've got back off us.
Revenue.
This is a revenue.
Take it back home.
It is, yeah.
Every single game that we play is to get home.
Yeah.
It's always to get home, isn't it? It's always to get finished, to finish.
Yeah.
Get
and
home.
Somerset, I think that it's not called Somerset by mistake. Their summers are coming to set down there. And is this the big land grab taking it back? I don't know.
Well, we do know that they stopped putting money in the dredging, didn't they? They stopped dredging.
They did.
And I saw a local say that we always get storms like this down here. I mean, this year's have been particularly nasty, but we always get storms like this. But the fact that the rivers are dredged and the pumping system was maintained,
the infrastructure was in place.
This never happened before because that's why this dredging and pumping system exists.
And it is below sea level. It was marshland. Yeah. They've reclaimed it.
It's Somerset.
Somerset,
It's a Somerset. I mean, it's land and sea. Somerset is land and sea and night. It's light and dark. That's the word Somerset, even without looking to work out how it's done.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, I think we can say that. I think they allocated about £400,000 for the maintenance of the system. Yeah, £400,000 was the budget for maintaining the system, the infrastructure that was in place to keep the. Well, I think they've got about 10, 11, 12 executives earning more than £100,000 each.
Yes.
So it shows you the level of how interested we really are. Lots of documentation online about from 2005, the European Union saying that they were going to let the sea reclaim the land.
Yeah,
if that was the case. and they weren't going to stop the sea reclaiming the land. But we've built on floodplains.
Yeah.
Look, there's millions of houses in this country built on floodplains.
There are, yeah.
Mainly because we live on an island.
Yeah.
That'll be mainly the reason. The politicians have put the wellies on.
Yes.
And they go down for the picture, don't they?
They do, yeah.
And they have to go far now because London's getting a little bit as well, isn't it?
Yes, so
you can get the Range Rover and the Land Rover.
As soon as the Thames
The
appeared,
Range Rover, the Land Rover and the Labrador. And get the hunters out.
Got the Land Army out.
Get the hunters out and let's have a picture. See Eric Pickles being congratulated for the connection with the working man. I've heard him talking. He's not on our side of the fence.
He's
all
not,
that boy.
Definitely not.
He's not.
No, he's in it for him.
He's going to burst, isn't he? He's actually going to burst first, isn't he? In this boom and bust society, I think he's going to burst. I do. We're trying to do news now. This is a first.
We are. We're trying to squeeze a little bit of news
first.
And our take is on this
well,
news.
Not a
it's
real
only
first.
our take on it. You don't have to believe it if you don't want to.
Well, it comes from the fictional
truth.
newspaper called the Daily Mail,
which
isn't a newspaper because it only appears online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've talked about this before. How does the Daily Mail make money? Well, it's not off you because you read it online.
Yeah.
So what's the Daily Mail there for? It's there to scare the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. It's there to scare the hell out of you. If you believe the Daily Mail, if you believe everything the Daily Mail writes, I believe you'll be sat in the darkness in an understairs cupboard, rocking backwards and forwards until you're dead.
One of the comments that we had on YouTube, and thank you for your comments. It's nice when we do get comments because we know people have listened, even if it is only for 5 minutes. But the system, the reason I still have my TV and I still listen to Radio 4 and I still try and keep in touch with what's going on because it emphasises to me that the balance we get from this side, on the awake side of things, and the alternative truth and all that kind of
it's
thing.
all based on the in debt and desperate.
Yes.
That's who we listen to.
That's the scariest.
In debt and desperate,
yes,
so give me some money because I
I
haven't got any.
I want some money for
Yeah.
it, and that just wears me down a little bit. I go out and earn my own money, and I'm happy to do that. I don't rely on anybody else but me to do that. And but it brings it into perspective for me. When you listen to one side and you listen to you can't just listen to one side.
Well, you can, but you'll be wrong.
You've got to listen to both sides and then come up with your own version.
Remember, this country's a business.
Yes, it
Right,
is.
it's run as a business.
It's
Whether you like it or not,
PLC.
whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter.
No.
Right, it doesn't matter if you're running your business if you're running your life, your company, because you are your company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you are the company you keep.
Yeah.
In the old maritime system, which is still being applied to us.
It is. We're under
You are the company
law.
you keep,
Yeah.
and every time you open your mouth or perform a service, you're providing. It's doing the business. All right. However you choose to do it, you're selling some part of you. It's a pawn system. PAWN. Okay. You're giving something of yourself for reward.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, whatever service you provide is none of my business, but the country's a business, and you're encouraged to run your own life as a business. Now, the way the system swung round over the past 200 years, 250 years, is you don't have to run your life as a business. You can help somebody else run theirs.
Yeah.
Now, there be the change from independence to servitude. There it is. We've always had servants over the years, and there's always been the forces. But the forces, the soldiers that we call them now, were known as slaves. And the lowest of the low were the ones that applied to be soldiers, because it wasn't something to be proud of, was it?
No.
In the 1600s, the landowners used to employ their own forces, recruited from the local people, to keep those landowners safe from attack.
Yeah.
Before that, they built castles.
Yeah.
And they had to pay the most ruthless to defend them.
Defend them, yeah.
Well, it hasn't changed very much, except our domestication has been applied on all levels.
Yeah.
So, the ruthlessness that we did apply, which was obviously, they tearing each other apart with knives and swords and whatever, and then moving on to bombs and bullets.
Yeah.
It's still there. The very lowest. Okay, it's the poor people from one society attacking the poor people from another.
Yeah.
And that's not just country versus country. It's what happens in our country here. Because they are the protectors of the hands that feed them.
Yeah.
And that's why they're now looking for the most ruthless there is. Because the ones that steal the most have to employ the biggest force to keep it.
Keep it, yeah. They have to have...
they have to have the biggest force.
The people on the door.
Exactly. So we're going to have... Exactly, the doorman, yeah.
The doorman, yeah.
Exactly, stopping people getting in.
Yeah.
Now, in the middle level of society, what we'll call the middle class and above, a lot of people have learned the agenda. And the agenda is to reduce the number of people. Been talked about and written about, well, since the Malthus time, really. There's always been too many people because they've always wanted an excuse to kill us. Because they have a great time. They love it.
They do, yeah.
They love it. This is what they live for. But this is what we're told they live for. This is what the language tells us they live for. You ever met anyone who lives for that?
No.
No, I haven't.
No.
Except the very people at the bottom. What soldiers will do. What soldiers will do when faced with a battle for their lives. Some can't handle it and come home. Many can't handle it and come home and we'll never talk about it.
No.
But some go back time and time again because they enjoy it.
Yeah, and they end up being... Even when the time served, they end up becoming mercenaries and things, don't they? We do know mercenaries exist.
Because they cannot get a buzz
No.
out of any other form of living. But we've gone down a little narrow road there. Let's come back a little bit. The poor, wasn't it? It's not about the poor elements of society.
Yeah.
And how they're recruited to protect the richest.
Because they're clothed and they're fed, and with that they're given a weapon as well.
But remember all these rituals that we're told they take part in.
Yeah.
All these satanic rituals. Now, if I was sat right on the throne of how to control the ruthless that I wanted, because it's no use having the domesticated versions, because they won't fight. Look around, they won't fight. Look around at what we've got at this level.
Yeah.
It's all love and light and hugs and kisses. Alright? They're not going to fight. They say they're going to fight, but when the day comes, we've been to more than one rally, we've been to big demonstrations, we've been to Bilderberg, and we know the numbers. Okay, we know the numbers. We've been to meetings, we've been to rallies, we've been to Bilderberg. We've seen with our own eyes.
Yes.
You know, let's talk about Bilderberg in the main, because we spent a long time there studying who was there. How many of the crowd, percentage-wise, would you say would fight?
Maybe it's 1%, maybe it's if that, and then if they were challenged, they may find something else to do.
We saw no evidence of people who were there because they wanted to connect with people who wanted to stand. We did see an awful lot of people who wanted to dance all day.
Yeah.
And
sit in a ring.
And they wanted to meditate.
And hold hands and
chant.
And
they didn't recognise the enemy when he came into the camp, did they?
No.
They didn't recognise that MP.
No, they didn't.
What was it, Michael Meacher, was his name?
Michael Meacher, yeah.
The enemy came in the camp.
He did, in his nice suit.
And
old suit.
Yes.
Shiny suit.
He looked a mess.
He did, yes.
But the enemy came in the camp, told them exactly what they wanted to hear, and they believed every bloody word of it.
Clapped and
they
cheered.
Clapped and cheered, yeah.
And we were sat there, and Joe's here tonight.
Yeah, we've got Joe with us,
Three of us were sat there, weren't we?
Shaking our heads.
No,
this is the enemy in the camp, and you let him in, give him centre stage and let him speak. And he told you exactly what he was going to go back to. He was going to go back to Parliament, and he was going to put the record straight, and he was going to... What he really said was, I wish I was in there.
Well, he did say it.
He did say that,
He showed his true colours. He says, I wish I was in there.
If he'd had a bag of sweets and some puppies, it would have been complete, wouldn't it?
Would, yeah.
The whole serenade would have been complete.
It would, yeah.
And we looked at each other and thought, my God.
And I remember him back in the older days when I was in my CND days. He was one of these guys following Tony Benn and all this. And
but if I was sat on the throne,
yeah,
right. If I was sat on the throne, and I wanted to put together an application form for the people I needed, this is what I would say. You need to be interested in,
yes,
to apply for this job, right? To apply for this job, you must be interested in sex with little children. You must be interested in the darker side of life. You must be happy to do what needs to be done so you and your family can be successful. And you must not be frightened, okay? That when the axe falls, you may have to wield it. I would put forward, this is the application form that I want you to be happy to fill in. And then when you applied, knowing damn well what it is that I want you to be into, I would surely make sure that you got involved in wherever it was that you were mostly interested in that I can compromise you with. In other words, you join this club that does this.
Yeah.
Right? And once you're in, you're like a bonded thief club.
Yeah, you do as we say.
Because thieves will bond together.
Yeah.
And they won't let another non-thief in. And to join the club, you've got to prove your membership to the club. So if it is that we mess with little children, then that's how you get in. And this is the compromise. This is the method of filtering the very most ruthless to the top.
Yeah.
Are the people at the top actually doing all these things? We have no evidence, but we have an awful lot of evidence that the people who are climbing up have done it.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Now, I didn't play that to be all fluffy and lovey. I'll tell you why I played it. Because the third and final segment this evening of our show, I played that because we mix with a lot of people, or at least we associate online and when we go out and about.
Yeah.
With a lot of people who spend their entire lives looking in the rear view mirror. Yep.
Yeah.
They look backwards in time. This isn't a wasted exercise by any means, but it can't take you forwards. You've got to look through your own window. Your window to the world are the two eyes that you open every day, and they want to put their own window in front of it. So rather than you seeing what you want to see, they put their own window in front of it, so you see what they want you to see. And they tell you that's good for you. That's the windows that they've been trying to paint your entire life. The rear view mirror will tell you where you came from. And it is, if you can see the circles that we go round in, it is a very, very good indicator of where we're going.
Yeah.
But you yourself have to move forwards. And the way that I define moving forwards is, are you watching and listening more than you sat quietly and connecting? Because if you think watching and listening is connecting, then you're falling for the window that they've given you. Because you're looking into it, aren't you? You're looking into the window they gave you. You're watching and listening and thinking that you're connecting. You're not. If you use your own two eyes and stare at the real world, and you're managing to connect and make sense on your own, and you spend more time doing that than you do watching their shows, then you're moving forwards. But if every connection you've made is through watching and listening their own to what you've been given, it's not you moving forwards.
No.
You're digging deeper in. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And it's easy to get fooled which one you're doing.
Yeah.
It is easy to get fooled, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, how can I liken it to you? Are you a submarine and you've been depth charged?
Right.
You're getting deeper and deeper in, and down the bombs come and blowing up and trying to knock you off course.
But
and
the pressure increases the deeper down you, and it's harder to breathe.
Mm.
You've got to fight your way to the surface here.
And if you are in trouble, it's a longer. You've got to hold your breath for a long time to get to the top.
You've got to get to the surface and see the world for what it is. Mm. And this is the burial system that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the end of this version of humanity or mankind. We are being changed.
We are, yes.
We are being propagandized, medicated, and poisoned. And we know we are.
Mm-hmm.
And even people who don't study this stuff, they know they are too.
Yeah.
Now you have to ask, what sort of anaesthesia is at play here? And it's just fear. We've done that already in the show.
Yeah.
We've done the why the Daily Mail does what it does.
Mm-hmm. I want to just put a challenge out to people out there. I don't know how far and wide people are listening, but there's a little thing on Radio 4 the other day about Denmark, and the elderly people in Denmark have been trialled with robots to come into the house.
It's happened.
And do their...
It's happened at the top of Scotland.
Do the local chores. Oh, has it as well?
Yeah, it's happened at the top of Scotland,
And I didn't know whether it was just...
just company, isn't it?
Something put
to
in
a point, it's just company for
out
them,
there.
Yeah. It was, instead of having a little emergency...
call button or
call
something round the neck.
Yeah. This little robot here
watches them.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Oh, right, I see.
Yeah.
I only caught a little snippet of it, and I thought, oh, here it comes. This is when we're too busy to even look after our own
to think. Well, we're
elderly
there.
people.
We're already there.
We are already there. Yeah.
We're already there. But what's coming's coming.
Mm.
And if anybody tells you we can stop it, I'll see you when you realise that they're wrong. Okay. I'll see you then. Okay, come back when you realise that they can't stop it.
No, but we've asked this question of ourselves, haven't we? Are we lazier than our parents were?
Yes.
And I had to put my hand up and say yes.
This domestication carries on.
Yes.
You can see it in the extreme with the 15 and 16-year-olds who truly believe the government will find them a job, who truly believe they don't have to worry about having kids, who truly believe a house will magically appear when they need it.
Yeah.
They're already there. All right?
Yeah.
They're already there. But the future is coming whether we like it or not. Now, we've been given the opportunity to actually defend ourselves against the medication, against the poison, and against the propaganda.
Yeah.
And maybe to build an island is the best we can do. And we let whoever we feel comfortable with on our island.
On our island, yeah.
Maybe just combining those factors of people you trust and really trust and love to be there. Maybe that's the best that can be achieved, because the whole world is invested, those that have got money, in the future. And for us to just try looking at a city the size of London, look at the money, the investments, the stock, the share, all those people living there. Do you really in your heart think that they're going to consider it another way? The answer is no, they're not. No, they're not.
No.
They're going to look at us and say, you are the losers.
Yeah.
Just like they did with the Occupy gang, the bankers will have a glass of champagne
from the balconies,
and they'll be nodding and going,
down on
you lost. Now, we can satisfy our anger by saying, but once they've got rid of this level, which they are doing, then it isn't going to end, because it'll be your level that gets destroyed next.
Another level, yeah.
But they're the materialists. They think they're on the winning side.
They do.
They think you're just bad losers.
Yes.
They think that they are going to be part of the new world order. Now, this change that's coming along, which is well documented, they've said they don't mind if it takes this entire century to get from where we were to where we are going.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I'm being defeatist, and I'm not being defeatist at all, because in a long way around, the clip that I played you about the crazy ones is, are we the crazy ones? Are we? So, do we not have a chance to do something for ourselves?
Yeah.
Can we not, knowing what we know, knowing the future that's coming, can we not take advantage in some small way? And whether it's... I'm trying to think of something... Whether it's becoming an undertaker, whether it's becoming... But we need to become something.
Mm.
You know, just to become something more than you are now.
Yeah.
But you should want to do that.
You should,
We've got the word human being, but I don't think that's right at all, because we're evolving. It should be human becoming.
Mm.
We're always becoming something. We should always be becoming something.
Yes, we should, yeah.
And you should look around, and instead of being greedy, you should say, okay, how much do I need? And what is it I can do? And be prepared to do it.
Yeah.
And this is for your own well-being.
Yeah.
I know that the salaries are not available anymore. I understand globalisation is just the cover story for imperialism. That's what it is. I know it is. I know £6.31 an hour minimum wage is disgraceful. And I'm with you. I know a guy 60-some years old. He works 40 hours a week for a recognised company, Wetherspoons. He can't take home enough money to support himself in a one-bedroom flat.
No.
So that tells you the system is broken.
It is, yeah.
I know all these things. I can't say one line that will satisfy you. I understand that we've lost so far, but we keep losing. When are we going to say, this doesn't appear to work, does it? Doesn't appear to work at all, does it?
Promising us everything and then getting nothing.
But there's 60-odd million people in this country. How many people are actually shouting out loud that there's something wrong here?
Not enough.
Not enough, is there? Not enough. And those that are shouting just want back what they've just had stolen from them.
Yeah.
Whether it be their jobs, or the pensions, or the terms and conditions. So they don't want to make the world better. They don't want to make it better for everybody. They want you to support them, because what they've just had stolen is what they want back.
Yeah.
Well, we don't support them, because in this crazy corrupt system that we live in, when we see people fall, it makes us feel successful.
Yeah, that's the sick side.
It's a horrible system, isn't it?
Way of looking at
horrible,
it, isn't
isn't
it? Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, have you heard? So-and-so's on the verge of going bust. Oh, have you heard? So-and-so went bankrupt. Who'd have thought, Ian, they're struggling as well.
Yeah.
We can't stop ourselves, can we?
No.
So when we started the show, we said, are we not the authors of our own demise?
Yeah.
But are we?
And
Or are we being authored to make ourselves extinct?
Well, the signs are there, aren't there? If we're revelling in people going bust and stuff like that, well, that's less work and less money around for everybody else.
I remember saying, I've seen more than once,
going under.
I used to want to destroy my competition.
Yeah.
Now I realise that that's not going to work at all.
No.
If you're not speaking to an economist or somebody who understands the economy, then they'll only have the, if I succeed, it's because I'm better. And I don't know if you can get over that. If I'm still alive and in credit, and they call themselves in credit when they've got a mortgage on tick, when they've got a car on HP, and credit cards 2 each, they still call themselves in credit.
Yes.
Because they can bail themselves out just enough to stop drowning.
Yeah.
But the water's coming in.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It's just how fast you can bail it out.
But there are people out there. There's a young lad that comes into your chip shop, and I was here one day. What were I doing? Repairing something, I can't remember. But he came to the counter for his fish and chips, didn't he? And he's disabled, isn't he? He's He's not very good on his pins.
Yep.
And
I know who you're talking about now.
He wanted. He told the story to you, didn't he? And I loved the story because he said, I love airports. He says, I love watching planes take off and land, and I wanted to work in an airport. So he kept pestering our local airport, didn't he?
He did.
And he says, I'll come and work for you for free. I don't want any money. I just want to come and work. Find me a job, and I'll do it because I enjoy being in an airport.
He was sweeping the terminal. That's where he started.
And they gave him a job. They had no money.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, come for a trial.
We went through the weekend.
And he's there now, and he's been promoted, hasn't he?
He has. He's
just got a promotion.
Well, he wants to be aircrew now. He wants to go. He wants to go into the aircrew. But from sweeping the terminal.
Yeah.
He's now working inside the. He's actually getting paid. He's got a uniform.
Yes.
He's about 19, 20.
And he loves it. His face he's smiling all the time when he's talking about it, and that he loves that job. brilliant.
It is true. It is true.
And if I could bottle that and sell it, that'd be brilliant.
And on another sort of positive aspect as well is that there's a girl who comes in here. She used to actually work for my mum in the chip shop. She used to work for my mum. She'll be 30-ish now, I think 30. I'm not sure, doesn't matter. And she's been caring for the same couple. She's a carer now. And she's got 4 kids of her own. And without going into details, colourful, really up and down crisis disaster, but she's an absolute whirlwind of a girl. She could run this chip shop. She can do the work of 3 people. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she's a carer for a couple. And she's been caring for this couple. And I don't know how many years, but it's a lot. It's 5, 6, 7 or 8 or something like that. It's more than a couple. Yeah. But she's been caring for this couple together. One's got Alzheimer's and another one's got some sort of disability. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she's been looking after this couple. And a car broke. A car broke down. And this couple said, look, we'd love to help you get another car. She says, no, I couldn't possibly. She said, no, we're asking if we can help you. She said, no, come on, let's go down to our local company here, Bachelors. Let's go down, let's try and find something that, you're okay with. And it's a true story, let's speak out this. And she went with them and she said, look, I can't let you do this. Let's find something that I can afford and we'll take it from there. And they found a car and they looked at the repayment. She says, yeah, I can just about manage those. You're right. And she said, what? She said, if you help me a little bit with the deposit, she said, I can pay you back over time and I can afford the repayments. And they said, no, we didn't bring you down here for that. That was just to get you down here. And they signed a cheque for the whole amount of the car and gave her the car. And she said, I don't think I can ever pay you back. And they said, you've already paid in full. Mm-hmm. You just don't know yet. Yeah. Mm. Isn't that lovely? It is, Isn't that lovely? Yeah. And that happened last week. Mm.
Actum runs of car.
And I know why, because the girl in question's got 4 kids, and they're beautifully turned out. Mm. She works at the speed of 3 people. I mean, really, she just is a whirlwind of a girl. And the 4 kids are turned out. She's immaculate. When you hear those stories of single mums with 4 kids who just managed to do everything, they do exist, because I know one. Yeah. Mm. And I don't know how she does it. She helps me out. If I'm ever really short of staff, she actually finds time to come and help me here. She's only helped 2 or 3 times over the past few years. Mm. When she comes here, I can run the whole shop with a member of staff less. Because she's that blinking fast. So isn't that lovely?
It is lovely, yeah. There are some lovely stories out there, yeah.
And we've talked a lot this evening about what the system does and why it does it. Mm. And why you think everywhere is deep and dark and satanic. It's because the language is designed to make you think that way.
It is.
We understand this is a Germanic satanic control system. Mm-hmm. Our language is made up of a language that's always existed, but it's been adjusted for circumstances. Yeah. It's been adjusted so we can do business this time, so we can run ourselves as a company. Mm-hmm. Prior to the 1500s, 1600s even, it was just farming. There was no industry of sorts, but the Industrial Revolution, they had to prepare us all for it. All sorts of education and banking system changes. There's loads of stuff happened to prepare us for the Industrial Revolution. Mm-hmm. And our lives have changed considerably, revolution after revolution since then. We're in a scientific revolution now, a technological revolution now. Yeah. And it's not that we're all going to fail, but what are we going to be? What are you going to be? Mm-hmm. There's not a gun to our heads, is there?
No.
There's no gun to our heads. Although some people may claim it feels like that sometimes. I know it does sometimes.
It does feel like that.
It feels like when you get out of bed and you have to pay your tax bill, you have to pay your VAT bill.
Yeah.
It is like an invisible gun to our heads. Mm. The rules have been changed, so it's harder and harder for us to succeed. Mm. Big business, lobbies, which is just a posh word for bribes.
Bribery.
The prostitutes that we call politicians that call themselves servants, which none of that is rubbish.
Yeah.
Big business wants all of this for themselves.
It does,
which means the elimination of every small business. Mm-hmm. That is the plan, and that's why they don't pay tax, and I can't get away with paying a penny short. Okay?
Exactly, yeah.
And the attacks, space TAX, will continue. But I do think that Hollywood is making films that clearly tell us what's coming. Mm-hmm. It's always been called predictive programming, and for the sleeping they never see it, and for the awake they won't watch it. And for us three sat here, we can't wait to decode it.
No.
We really can't wait to decode it. So,
that's the fun bit.
So you decide what it is that you're listening to. Don't listen to us. Don't listen to anybody else. Listen to that voice that you don't yet know exists. Because it will talk to you. It does exist. You're not going crazy, and you don't have to be embarrassed. If you find time to sit quietly, and I mean quietly, on your own, and this can be an hour, it can be 2 hours, it can be 3 hours, and if you can't do it, you're a victim of the internet. You're a victim of today's modern society, where you can't stand your own company, so you don't run it properly. Calm down. Try and find quiet waters.
Find time for yourself.
It will talk to you. The world is not a bad place. But if that's what you're looking for, you'll find it. Solitude, it used to be called.
Yes.
And Superman used to go and get his fair share of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should remind people that they need to get their fair share of it.
The monks that went on pilgrimages were looked up to, weren't they? And they went on solitude. They went and found a place to be by themselves so they could contemplate.
If all you're doing is spending time on Facebook, it's your apprenticeship. But it's not the end.
No.
You've now got brave enough to join YouTube and join Facebook. You're now brave enough to type your opinions. You're now brave enough to share others that you agree with. Now it's time to find your voice, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's time to find you and your voice so we can hear you. Because I can't hear you on Facebook.
First they came for the Muslims, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Muslim. Then they came for immigrants, detaining them indefinitely, solely upon the certification of the Attorney General, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't an immigrant. Then they came to enter homes and offices for unannounced sneak and peek searches, and I didn't speak up because I had nothing to hide. Then they came to arrest American citizens and hold them indefinitely without any charges and without access to lawyers, and I didn't speak up because I would never be arrested. Then they came for immigrants and students from selected countries, luring them under the requirements of special registration as a ruse to seize them and detain them, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't required to register. Then they came for anyone who objected to government policy because it only aided the terrorists and gave ammunition to America's enemies, and I didn't speak up because I didn't speak up. And then they came for me, and by that time, no one was left to speak up.
A timely clip.
Yeah.
Our last little couple of minutes.
It certainly is. Flies by.
It does fly by. All the contacts are below this YouTube video that this will be turned into tomorrow by our pal Phil. His Facebook as well. Anybody who would like any radio show at all turning into a YouTube video, contact Phil.
Yeah.
He'll do it for you. Okay, he'll maybe do the first one for free for you, and maybe you might have to send him a little something in the post to say thank you if you want to do it regularly. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'm okay with that. That's exactly how it should be, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So, any help that you can give Phil, if you want a bit of it, it'll be, if you can't do it, it'll be a lot cheaper than you trying to learn how to do it, let's put it that way. The first YouTube edit I try to do, hours. I can do a lot quicker now. Our last little bit of the show, and this is where we do say thank you to everybody. We're very lucky at this moment in time to be able to broadcast around the world.
Yes, we are.
Long may it continue.
Yeah.
The history shows that it probably won't. We probably won't be allowed to do this forever and ever and ever. But
they'll find a way of taxing it.
We do what we can. We do what we can.
Yeah.
You can say I'm looking for something. I didn't find what I was looking for, but I will.
Yeah, it's and it's easy to get lost, isn't it? You can try and study too many things.
Focus.
Yes, you've got to
Focus. That's the word, isn't it?
Yeah. The things that you like, I found, things that interest you, and nothing else really, because you're trying to be something that you're not really. And I think that's part of the mistake I made.
Until you can speak it in your own words. Until you can do it without script.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong to you.
No.
Until you're using your own words. If you find yourself you're copying,
yes,
or repeating, it's still not yours, is it?
No.
It
was like being at school when you after you'd watched something on TV and you went back, like watching the 9 o'clock news, and you always tried to speak it in real terms as though everybody were listening to it.
Well, it's because it made an impression on you, so you tried to do an impression of it.
Of it, yes.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And you weren't learning anything, really. All you were learning to do was be a copy and paster, that's all. And that's what we've carried on doing, copy and pasting.
It always beats us, doesn't it? It always manages to somehow fool us into thinking that this is the new version.
Yeah,
this is what we should be in.
I did this.
This is good for us. It never is.
No.
Never does work that way. The end of our show, my friend, and it's always a pleasure to have your company.
Yes, and yours too. Yeah, enjoy these Tuesday nights, and we've ummed and ahed as to whether we should keep doing them, but we feel it.
We know we should.
It gives us a focus, doesn't it?
It makes
us do. It's that competition in yourself.
But from tomorrow morning,
you'll
always be looking at the world in a way. Oh, I can use that in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I can use what I've seen there in the show.
Yes, and
Oh, that. Remember the real windows on the world are your two eyes. Any other windows that you're looking through, it's a crystal ball. It's trying to tell you a future that may or may not exist. The choice is always yours. It's always a choice.
It is.
What you make of yourself is what you make of yourself. Not everybody can win.
No.
But it doesn't mean you have to lose.
No.
Floating is what you need to do. First of all,
you do.
Becoming able to provide for yourself. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. And looking around at the level we live at. Remember I said you should be able to take advantage of what it is you now know. Because we're in the working class at best. Not quite working poor, but we're working class and nothing more.
Yeah.
And we'll never be different. Do you not feel that knowing this stuff is an advantage to others that you'll be competing against in the working class?
No, not in that respect.
Well, if you're sat at a job interview,
yes,
and you know this stuff, and the person next to you doesn't know this stuff, and you know yourself, and you understand that nobody ever got to be good at something without sweeping the floors.
Yes, exactly.
Every person who didn't get a university degree, I'm reading a book about it now. These are regular people who found out early what they were good at. These are stories of why they were stopped, why people say you'll never make anything at that.
Yeah,
you'll never make an out of yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't apply yourself. These are stories. I realise it's almost a bit of a grandiose book of didn't I do well, but read the book. I'm reading the book for what it is, and it's about we have an advantage at this level over other working class people who don't have this knowledge. So whether we choose to use it properly and take a job that perhaps we wouldn't normally really want to, you've got to be honest with yourself when you look in the mirror and say, do I have a skill that is better than them sat next to me? And if you haven't added any new skills from when you were 17, 18, then your value is going to diminish over your lifetime.
Yeah.
You've got to be honest about that. So if you sat next to somebody who's got an equal skill set to you, even if it's just stacking shelves, you should have the advantage now of knowing how to beat that person, because they're sleeping and you claim to be awake.
Yeah.
So you should be able to say to the guy who has the ability to offer or not offer you a job, you should know what to say to him. And it is, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full, sir.
Yeah.
I'm happy to start early. I'm happy to stay late. I don't have any outside interests that are going to interfere with my availability. You've got to beg, because applying for a job is begging.
Yeah.
I'm not begging to nobody. Well, okay then, if you're going to sit on benefits, you're stealing off another working man. You're stealing somebody else's hard effort. Take any job you can get and work your way up.
I'm just going to reiterate that. It's easier to get another job while you've got a job.
When I have people applying to me for jobs and I say, have you worked anywhere else, and say no, you think, well, why not? You're 19, 20, 21, why not?
Yeah.
So it is true.
It is.
And we do like to ring up the former employer and say, I mean, we can't ask for detailed recommendations nowadays. You just have to say, I have an application from Mr. John Smith here. He's asking me he's applying for a job here. He seems that I've interviewed him. He seems a very nice chap. I wonder if I could just ask, he said that he'd left your, was it a position working with you because he moved house or something like that. And they say, yes, that's correct. Yes, he has supplied you with the correct information. And I say, I just have one more question. Would you re-employ him in the future should he apply to you? And they'll say yes or no. And you've got your answer.
You have, yeah.
Okay, you've got your answer. That's how this works.
Yeah.
And if you can provide that to an employer, you're much more valuable than one that can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes, you do have to be a bit, yes sir, no sir.
Of course, you're
well,
applying.
if you've no skill set, how did you think it was going to work? If you've no skill set, what made you think you're going to have a 3-bedroom semi, a new car in the drive, a foreign holiday each year, and a pension to look forward to? What made you think that was any way entitled to you? Another Tuesday.
Yes.
Until next week, it's goodbye from me.
And good night from me.
When you're ready to rise up, you'll rise up. All the power you need is in your hands. Now look around you. Our financial systems have been hijacked by a generation of thieves. While you're working harder and harder for less and less, the game is being rigged against you. They're turning all of us into virtual slaves. Looters, at the heart of our financial system, are price-fixing our most precious resources. Food, water, energy, gold, even the value of money itself is being siphoned away by high-level crooks in a giant mushrooming conspiracy of unstoppable corruption. They're robbing billions of people of trillions of dollars a year, folks. There is no need for austerity measures. There is no need for financial suffering. No need for poverty. There is no scarcity. We are simply the victims of a robbery of unimaginable proportions. We have been fed a lie so vast it oppresses all of humanity. The truth is, there is more than enough to go around. 60 years ago, productivity was increasing so fast, they predicted by today, entire families could live comfortably on the income of just one provider, working only 10 hours a week. They wondered what we'd do with all of our spare time. What happened to that dream? Turns out they were right. What took a full work week back then can be done in just 10 hours today. We have technologies that multiply our efforts 1,000-fold and connect us in ways they never imagined. We are now 100 times richer than in that great heyday of the 50s. We are heirs to a great bounty of prosperity, $70 trillion in the U.S. alone, over $200,000 for every man, woman, and child. The only reason we don't experience this wealth is because it's being siphoned away by a corrupt criminal class. They loot through giant corporations, raising prices, lowering wages, stealing the fruits of our productivity. Where once whole families prospered with just one provider, now both parents work, delivering 8 times the productivity but struggling to make ends meet. They control the media using hot-button social issues to divide us, brother against brother, so we fight each other while they loot our sacred institutions. They make us fear too big to fail banks collapsing, but if they did, we'd suddenly recover the 8 times our income that's being siphoned away every single day. Don't give yourselves to these crooks who abuse you and enslave you, who steal your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. Let us burn!